Thank you, everybody out there, for joining me with Chris Gromis for the Perspective Through Pain podcast. This is episode 6. This is on YouTube. And hey, we're going to encourage, train, and inspire you. This is something to give you courage and to not only do what's good, but to even strive for what's best. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I just wanted to say it's such an honor to have you on the show. You've always been a really awesome person to me. Chris and me have been friends for about, 12 years now?
Yep, 12 years. Almost 13, I think.
Yeah, I think we met around 2007 with Cam Fell Productions. And
Oh, yeah.
it was
Way
amazing.
back then.
But man, yeah, ever since then, and maybe even while we were there, you had some things stirring in your heart about the military, and you've always appreciated the military. Can you tell me kind of what brought upon the David Sword Ministries? You're the founder of David Sword Ministries, and what kind of brought upon your heart to help out the military in that way?
Oh, man, so it's actually kind of a funny story how it happened. What? So my family, a lot of my family's military. One of my grandpas was a POW in World War II. He died trying to escape a Nazi prison camp. And my other grandpa was also in World War II. He was on a dry dock kind of thing in the middle of the Pacific, working on ships. So growing up, I was always hearing about these stories. And then my brothers and sisters all, like a lot of them joined the military. So it was kind of like this thing that was always around. And then I was sitting in a conference one day, and it was the weirdest thing. It was a video that was being played, and this guy was walking, and he stepped in a puddle. He stepped in a puddle and walked through, and all of a sudden, like, everything just flooded, like, my head. It was like this image, and it was just, it had nothing to do with the military, too. It was the funniest thing. Nothing to do with the military. It was just a random dude walking. They concentrated the shot on him stepping in a puddle, and that's what gave birth to David Sword Ministries. It was just everything flooded into my head. Like, God was basically saying, here, this is what I want you to do. And since that moment, I've been trying. I mean, there's a little bit of struggles, but we trying to build up a ministry that can really much just support the faith of our military guys that are deployed. Now we're working on some stuff to do with veterans and veteran suicide and stuff like that. So that's kind of how it gave birth to it.
Yeah.
Random guy walking through a puddle.
Man, that is so cool. I'm so glad for you putting that out there for the military. That takes a lot of courage, too, to start something new. So that's amazing. Hey, let's just jump right in. You've been very, open about mental health with in your own journey. I actually have a brother who he's been into he's had a struggle with mental health. I know I sure have. Whenever I was in high school, I was diagnosed with depression. And then, I've been able to manage that a lot with exercise and nutrition. We'll get into that too. I'm so excited to talk to you about those things too, because you're doing a lot in that realm. But so about the David Sword Ministries, though, you mentioned also the suicide rate among the military. So can you tell me a little bit about that and why that's special to you right now?
Yeah, sorry. I'm getting, all of a sudden, people are messaging me, and I forgot to turn it off. So, yeah, mental health in the military. Oh, my gosh. Sorry.
You're fine.
All right, so, yeah, with the military, there's a huge epidemic right now of veteran suicides. Right now, there's about 22 a day on average, which is completely, to me, just horrible. Like, it's such a tragedy that we have these guys and these men and women that come back from overseas from defending their country, sacrificing so much, and then just to fall into just a deep depression caused by PTSD and just like take their own life. They feel like that's the only way out. Honestly, it's a horrible situation, and And there's a lot of great organizations out there trying to help curb this. But in my opinion, the more the merrier in this. So if there's anything that anybody can do to help curb this epidemic right now in our veterans, it's like, let's do it. Like, there's a lot of people are like, oh, there's already organizations that deal with this. Well, yeah, but when you're dealing with 22 a day, that's across the entire country. Like, there's room for a lot. So trying to figure out what is the best way to help our men and women that have served and sacrificed so much, and what can we do to do that? Because, I mean, most people, like, I know a lot of people out there probably know, but there's a lot of people that don't understand depression and what it does, and like kind of like the hole you fall into and the hole you can't get out of. I know there's some people out there that it's not their fault; they just don't understand it. They just never dealt with it, and so it's hard for them to understand. Like, it's not something one day you can just be like, oh, hey, I'm not depressed anymore, or I'm not, it's not just being sad. It's an overwhelming feeling of just gloom and just worthless, all this stuff. So it's a huge epidemic right now. I mean, it's in our whole nation, but even more so in veterans right now, where they've seen a lot, and there's not a whole lot that they can do to curb this.
Yeah, Chris, you said in our nation, it's a big thing right now. And I mean, you and me, we know that God's got everything in control, and he's even got a plan for everything, even though we see the sickness going on with the COVID. But can you kind of tell me what are some of your concerns about, say, depression with social isolation now, the quarantining, and how do you think you would address that or encourage people?
Oh man, yeah. So what we've been doing, like with DS Ministries, is we've been on social media and YouTube and podcasts and everything, encouraging people to go out and seek out people, just like their friends and their family, their contacts. Like, reach out to at least 3 to 5 a day. Make sure that they're doing okay. Because as depression, like with depression, you're told not to isolate. You're told to be in groups of people. You're told to be around people. But in this time of COVID, you're told not to do those things, which are the things that you need to do to help your depression and seek all that stuff. I read a report the other day. It was like, I live in Tennessee. Right now, I think we have like 200 and something COVID deaths. But I heard the other day that we actually have way more suicides right now than we do COVID deaths.
Oh my gosh.
During this isolation. So I've been trying to find that article again, but I also can tell you right now, there was a study in Massachusetts a couple weeks ago. So I know, or I think it was about a month ago. So this has actually been probably happened more, but just in the state of Massachusetts, they've been seeing suicide hotline calls go through the roof right now, or about a month ago. So I know since the isolation started. So we see that there's a mental aspect to this that's very dangerous. So, like I said, what we've been doing is we've been trying to encourage people to contact people.
Yeah.
To seek those people out in this social isolation. And to be perfectly honest, if you're young and healthy and you're feeling like you are at that point where you're almost at that tipping edge, I would say, you know what, skip like staying in your house. Get out and call a friend and say, hey, can we talk? And, you can still keep social distancing. But, I mean, if it comes down to a chance of getting the coronavirus, or you are going to commit suicide, I would say take the chance of getting coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one is a definite, like, I am going to do this. The other is I might get sick. And and a very slim chance that you might get even sicker to the point you have to be hospitalized. But, it's the lesser of two evils.
Hey, Chris, we're going to get into definitely your fitness journey, because you have an amazing fitness journey. But what can exercise, physical fitness, and nutrition do for mental health?
Oh man, it's huge for mental health. So when you work out, you build endorphins, which can help lighten your mood. But there's also this sense of accomplishment, and it's weird. Like a lot of people, like when you're overweight or you're not where you want to be or with your goals, you sit on your butt. You're just prolonging the thing that you see in your head. Like it's like, oh hey, I want to lose 10 pounds before summer so I could, go have fun and play basketball or do whatever else and not be winded. But every single day you sit on the couch or do something and you're not working towards that goal, you're now putting it off and you're feeling that, and it's just adding to everything else. So working out, like I said, builds endorphins. You're able to get out and have fun, and you're doing something, and you're keeping, also right now in social isolation, you are keeping yourself busy on top of it. So like you are doing something that is not, you're not restricted for. Nutrition is huge. I don't know if I told you this. I've gone almost pretty much vegan.
What? Get out of here.
Yeah. I think there's like two things that are not vegan in my diet. It's egg whites and whey protein.
So you haven't eaten meat. Wait, hold up. You haven't eaten meat in how long?
So I eat meat once a week.
Okay.
Just because I want to keep up my tolerance, because there's certain situations where I don't have control over my food. So and it's not every week. I think it's like once, maybe twice a month I'll eat meat. But it's October of last year. I made the switch to, and probably for the first 2.5 months, with the exception of 2 meals, from October to mid-January, I ate no meat whatsoever.
Oh my gosh. You know that I was a vegetarian for 7 years. Well, whenever I was traveling with you, so.
Yeah, definitely. You know what?
Go ahead.
Crazy. I feel amazing. And you talk about like what can nutrition do for mental health. It's nutrition. If you keep putting in junk, you're gonna physically feel horrible. And if you physically feel horrible, it weighs on your mind. So if you put in good stuff that you're able to perform better as like physically, like you can get up faster, you can walk around better, you can go have fun, you can play with your kids, all that stuff. If you can do that and you feel good, it lifts up your mind. Like you don't feel as bogged down. So I watched the documentary Game Changers.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. So I started doing research, and I said, you know what? I am almost 40. I need to be able to perform better. So I'm like, I looked at my wife. I'm like, she already turned vegan. Or pretty close. And I looked down. I'm like, I'm down. Let's do it. And honestly, I don't want to go back to the way I was eating. I wasn't eating bad. I was eating very clean. I was eating egg whites and chicken, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And like beef at least once or twice a week and all that stuff. But I cut out everything.
Yeah, dude, you and me are fitness and nutrition nerds, man. And you got a religion degree coming up too. Graduate. Well, you already have one, but you got the MDiv. Master of Divinity in December. So have you started on the nutrition degree, and can you kind of tell me a little bit about that?
So yeah, definitely. I've been really much into nutrition for a long time. I knew a lot about it. I've been studying a lot, and then I had to re-up my personal training certification that I keep. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna get nutrition certified, because I'm like, I've already taken a lot of classes. I was working on an associate's degree for a while before I went back to school for religion.
Yeah.
And nutrition. So I was like, you know what, I'm like, let's just get certified now. And I'm a couple weeks in. And I love every minute of it because it's it's just more information to be able to make better informed decisions on what to put, not only in my body, but what I can help my clients and my friends and family, which I don't have clients right now, but everybody that I work with, I can help them out with what to put into their body to help them perform better.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. So let's transition to your fitness exercise journey. Hey, man, take me back to, I guess it was about 3 years ago or so, whenever bodybuilding.com chose you to be an ambassador for them. So can you kind of tell me what your journey was like, how you got fed up and all that with your condition?
So it was so bodybuilding.com 3 or 4 years ago, I can't remember, but they asked me to be an ambassador, and then they transitioned to called teambodybuilding.com, where they had a bunch of us. But leading up to that, when I was traveling with you 12 years ago, I was approximately, I think it was like 240, 250 pounds, but I had no muscle. So it's funny, I was probably around, I'm actually not far off weight-wise right now from where I was in Campbell, but my body fat is like dramatically lower. Yeah. So like then I think my body fat was upwards of like 30%. Like I was in the almost, I was like borderline obese, I think at that point, if not. And then when me and Karen got married, I went up to almost 300 pounds, and I want to say almost 40% body fat. Yeah. I was pretty high up there. I don't remember exactly where my body fat was. I didn't really know. I did one of those body fat calipers, and one time would say 38, another time would say like 42. So I think I was trying to fudge the numbers a little bit, like make it look better than it was. I kind of regret that now because I'm like, I really want to know where I was. But so I started this, and like I remember there's a couple things that happened. It's like I was trying to walk down the street, just walk. I was talking on the phone with somebody, and I was running out of breath. Like where I had to stop to catch my breath from walking and talking on the phone. Yeah. So I wasn't doing too well, and I was getting ready to go to summer camp with the youth group to be a counselor, and I remember going to the doctor pretty close before that, and they said, hey, you know what, here's the deal. You got 6 months to lose weight. In 6 months, when you come back, if you have it, I have to start you on medication because you're not healthy. And then then the doctor told me something. She said, you have kids. Do you want to be around for them? She goes, because the way you're going, you will not be. Ooh. So it was like pretty much like a death sentence at the moment. It was like, hey, if I don't lose weight, I'm going to die. Oh my gosh. So I went to summer camp, got home. I ate whatever I wanted there. Nothing really changed yet. Got home. I remember weighing myself. I was 287 pounds. Oh, man. And I said, okay, it's time. And I got a gym membership. I lost 30 pounds. Then I did a bodybuilding.com transformation contest. I mean, I kind of fluctuated for a long time. I said, I lost about 30 pounds, and I kept going between 240 and 260 for about a good 6 months. Yeah. Then there's a bodybuilding.com transformation challenge, and I went from about 247 to 187. Wow. In that 3 months. Oh my gosh. So you're talking 247 to 187. What is that, 60 pounds? 60, I guess? Yeah, 60 pounds in 3 months. So you're looking at every month 20 pounds. About 20 pounds. Yeah, which, I mean, it was, the strictest diet ever. Like, nothing bad came into my body. And I was working out about 3 to 4 hours a day. So wait, were you eating kale and, leeks and bok choy? Like, what were you doing? At that point, I was eating nothing but broccoli, chicken, half a serving of rice, egg whites, and like I had like 3 protein shakes a day.
Oh, so my buddy, he runs a mechanic shop about, I don't know, a town from here, like 5 miles from here, and he's big into bodybuilding, and his trainer was having him eat chicken breasts every day, a little bit of rice, but he would get 200 grams of protein a day.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not used to getting anywhere close to that. Is that like what were you shooting for as far as protein?
So I can tell you where my macros were exactly. Protein, I was at 200, between 200 and 210 a day. I was at 105 grams of carbs and 42 grams of fat every single day.
Mm.
Except for my cheat days, which I still didn't eat bad, I'd have 150 carbs and about 50 grams of fat. And then after my cheat day, I'd have a strict day where I'd have like 75 carbs.
Yeah.
And like 30 grams of fat. Like it was, I fluctuated it so much trying to play that. But I mean, it was very difficult. I don't recommend it.
So during this time, did Karen just say stay in the other room the whole time, or like
No.
what? How did it change your relationship with Karen, if it?
Oh, it didn't. I think she was excited. She was
Okay.
excited because she knew I was going. The last week and a half of the transformation, I cut my carbs down to like 50 a day, and I mean that was the point where I was like a jerk. So I was mean. I would yell, like I had the shortest temper. Like I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong or immoral. But I had a short temper.
Mm-hmm.
Kids would do something. I'm like, stop it. Just like, ah. And then, but I mean, when I weighed in and I could see my abs.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I haven't never seen them like that in my life. I was like, I mean, it made everything worth it.
That's what's up, dude.
It was awesome. And it was kind of cool that the whole journey and the story got picked up. Bodybuilding.com interviewed me up in Idaho about it. And it got played on their YouTube channel on their website. So they wrote a whole article. It was like this weird moment. Like it was being super overweight and unhealthy to being featured in the article from bodybuilding.com was like huge for me. I was just like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that, man. I was so proud of you at that point, and
oh, thanks, man.
it was just amazing.
It was fun. And it was fun up until the last week. But
Yeah. Go ahead.
It was forever life changing. So, like, being able to actually play with my kids and run around, it's like now I can go running and not be like dead.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. That's something that, like, you came into it in a similar vein as what I did, because it scared you basically into, hey, I might not see my kids, 30 years from now. So when my grandpa was probably 10 years older than I am now, I'm 39 now, he had, heart attack. He had two or three heart attacks in his life.
Oh, man.
And he was overweight, a lot of that. And he struggled with breathing because of that. And he was probably about 50 pounds overweight for all the time I knew him. And that struggled with his breathing, and he couldn't do some things with us. So, yeah. So that's kind of scared me into it. And that's why I was, vegetarian for 7 years. And it's something that it makes you really wake up sometimes and see that. So, yeah, man.
I think it's funny is like a lot of guys like in the fitness community, a lot of people just period have like a really bad outlook of what vegetarians and vegans are really like. And I mean, some of it is because of what people have seen. Like I remember we have a vegan restaurant. It's my favorite one in here in Knoxville, and it's super good. But and like a lot of people, like you have the Menly menu, like the guys are like, oh yeah, meat, protein, all this stuff. Like,
yeah.
Like they kind of fit into that meathead stereotype.
Uh-huh.
Like kind of like push this agenda, like this thought process against like vegans and vegetarians. Like, oh man, like they're all like just whatever. And I remember walking in there, and there's such a mix of people in this restaurant. You have the people that kind of fit the stereotypical vegan, but then you have these other guys that are in the back. One guy, he has like this crazy beard and this crazy hair. And it's like, oh, hey, it's cool. But the vegans and vegetarians, like they're completely now like different than that stereotype. And I think a lot of people were scared because of the stereotype. Like, I don't want to be, associated. Like, I don't want to have like this negative thing. It's like, no, like, I think it's half the Tennessee Titans are vegan. And it's like, so it's like they don't fit with that anymore. It's like this kind of a thing where people are starting to understand like nutrition and understand like the value of eating more of a plant-based, diet versus a meat-based, which is crazy because right now we're having meat shortages.
Dude, I never thought of that, man. That is such a good point.
And so me and my wife were watching TV and they're like meat shortages. And I looked at her, I'm like, you know how much this affects us? And she's like, none. I'm like, exactly.
Yes,
so I was like,
oh man, yeah. You say the Tennessee Titans and Tony Gonzalez, who was one of the best, clearly best tight ends ever, probably one of the top 3 best tight ends of all time for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was vegan for a time. He may still be vegan, but he leaned down to, he's 6'4", 6'5". He got down to about 220, and then Gronkowski too, probably the best tight end ever. He's going down to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now. He, I believe, he leaned out big time after he retired a couple of years ago, and I believe he went vegan too.
Oh yeah, and like you have like I follow a lot of UFC. It's like you have like Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is like crazy vegan.
Wow. Huh.
And he's, he's like, I mean, I don't like his attitude too much, but I mean, the guy's a brawler, and he is like, he fits that. I mean, he performs great. I mean, he outperformed, and when he fought Conor McGregor the first time, like he outperformed him the entire time, and they're like, McGregor was making fun of him. It's like, I ate 2 steaks before the fight, and like he's like, I ate none. And after the fight, McGregor's like, yeah, maybe that wasn't such a good idea.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah.
Yeah, we talk about transformation through nutrition, through exercise. Real quick, nutrition or exercise, which one's more important? If you had to choose one, Chris, what would you choose to help you mentally, physically?
So I would say, honestly, it's funny because there's a saying, it's abs are made in the kitchen.
Ooh.
Nutrition is about 90% of fitness. I would say nutrition is probably one of the more important things. I mean, you have to move around and exercise to be able to get your blood flow and build up the endorphins in your system and everything else. But it's worthless if your nutrition is not on point. So as like working out is like most people, it's a half hour to 2 hours. Nutrition is 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I would say almost like nutrition's more important because if you're not eating well, like you're not going to perform well, you're not going to feel well. If you're sitting around eating Doritos all day, like you are going to have a ton of fat being put into your body that's going to bog you down and weigh you down and not make you feel very well. Whereas if you're eating, healthy, you're eating your vegetables, I mean, clean meats and stuff like that, like you're going to feel much better. I mean, on days where I can't train, my nutrition, I still eat fine. I still feel great. I eat still really good. So I feel great at the end of the workout. I'm not at the end of the workout. At the end of the day, even if I don't work out. So it's all about nutrition.
That's what's up, man.